Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Jennifer Chapman. She's the founder of Just Commit Coaching. She's a speaker, facilitator, and coach who offers one-on-one life and leadership coaching and team workshops, taking a holistic approach for those leaders and teams that are ready to commit to their personal and professional growth and development. So this is my brief introduction to you, Jennifer. There's so much more to you than this, but I know this is your beautiful work to help others to see and to do what you have done in your own life, both personally and professionally. So the full bio will be at the end of this video. But the question that comes to mind immediately after that brief introduction is, what inspired you to become a coach and to do the work that you're doing today?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
The inspiration for me came from my first experience with my first life coach that I hired in 2018. And so at the time I was in corporate sales and had a health scare, and I had to take some time away. And when I came back, I was still struggling and didn't know the what or the why behind it. I just knew I couldn't do this by myself. And someone suggested, why don't you try a life coach? And so I trusted that, and I did. And she was such a game changer in my life. And it wasn't immediately after working with her, of course, but a couple years later is when I leaned in and thought, can I do for others what she did for me?
Wow. I love that. Another question that comes to mind is, what makes a coach a great coach or a good coach?
I believe for me, a great coach is someone that holds a safe space for someone to be themselves, to simply be heard and seen for anything that comes up for them, for anything that they say or feel, and not be judged for it, but to simply hold that space for them to process. And I think every great coach, as well as, we're a mirror. We're a mirror for you. And and if you're willing to look and lean in, we're not here to give you any answers. If we can ask the right questions, that inner knowing, that inner voice within you is going to answer those questions for you.
Wow, I love that. And I wonder, Jennifer, why do we lose connection with that inner wisdom, that inner voice, the heart itself? Why do we kind of choose to go in a different direction? Even when there are no challenges, it seems like there's this pull to just do something else and follow the rational mind. What is the explanation for that?
To the point that we talked about before we hit record, is this culture that we've been raised in, especially this American culture of like the hustle and grind. And it's, we're surrounded by media and social media and all this outside noise where it's going 100 miles an hour. And we're just taught to do. And it's almost like we're scared to slow all the way down, or we'll be judged if we slow all the way down. Or it's quote unquote lazy if we do that, if we take some time. When you allow yourself to slow down though, that's when clarity comes. That's when peace and calm can potentially come. That's where answers come from, is when we can slow all the way down and trust to be with ourselves and nothing else or no one else. So that's something I learned in coaching. Our coach would always tell us, when you want to speed up, slow down.
Yes, 1,000,000,000 times of that truth. So you mentioned fear. That's one of my, for some reason lately, has been a huge interest of the mind, the intellect, to understand more of what drives us from a fearful place, to do things from a place of fear, and what drives us to behave and to act or respond from a place of love. Do you see it that way too? Some people say that there are only two places to come from when it comes to the expression of life, of being a human: fear or love. Is that something that you also resonate with? And I would love to hear from you a little bit more about those two, the dance between those two.
It's such a dance. And yes, I do believe that. I do believe And for me, what I've learned in my own personal experience and through my coaching experience is when fear shows up, why it shows up, and where does it show up.
Right.
So when you ask, why is it showing up? It's the opportunity to build a newer relationship with fear and understanding, oh, it's there just to protect me. Fear is just there to keep us safe.
Right.
That may serve you depending on the situation that you're in. There's a lot of times a reason why it is showing up. And it's to keep you safe from something potential really, really scary. And sometimes when you're, trying something new or it's unknown.
Yes.
It's being able to acknowledge, okay, I see you showing up. You're telling me not to because it's the unknown. And yeah, I'm going to lean into the love part and the curiosity part of it and an open mind and heart to this and know that I'm supposed to do this anyways. And I'm going to put you, fear, I'm going to put you in the back seat of my car instead of the driver's seat of my car. And trust my heart and the love part to lead me forward anyways.
Yes. Gosh, I love that. I mean, everything you said, it just resonates profoundly with me. Yes. And does it take courage? Is that the concept you would use when it comes to following the voice of love and coming from that place? Or it doesn't really only trust? Would you use only the concept of trust?
Oh, courage is huge. I think courage is huge. It takes courage to do anything that you haven't done before. I mean, it took courage for me to ask for help when I knew I needed help. And I think that's the difference between people that know they want the help and need the help.
Yeah.
It's that leap of courage and faith and trust that this is going to be worth it to try it versus don't.
Yes. Yeah. And they mentioned many times that joy and sorrow and sadness, that they can coexist when we are going through the grieving process. So talk to me for a moment about that. The relationship, the dance again between joy and sadness when grieving, and what has been your own experience with it?
Such a powerful question. What comes up for me when you ask that, and what I can think of, my own personal experience with grief and losing my mom at such a young age.
Yeah.
I think for a long time that it's like giving yourself permission that you can feel joy in the pain because it can be so painful. But if you can tap into the joy that's still all around us all the time, I think that I believe that that's a really great way to heal through it, is to feel the joy. You think my mom would want me to walk around and not feel joy?
Yeah, right.
No way.
Yes.
And so when you can ask yourself that, with whomever you've lost in your life, think about what they would want for you.
Right.
And I hope that would change your perspective in your mind and your heart and lead a life that they would want you to lead. They don't want you sitting around, yes, grief is a roller coaster ride, and you got to be willing to ride the wave. But part of that wave is still being able to see the bright side, the positive side, the joyful side of life. That's, my mom would want that for me.
Right. So that's another question a lot of people ask. How long will grief last? There's no really, would you say that there's a time frame for it? Or?
No, I think there's a way to integrate it, and I saw a quote recently, like, grief is just love with no place to go.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, yes, it's beautiful.
Again, it's a wave. It's a constant wave, and it's leaning into riding the wave versus fighting or resisting the wave. Yeah. Because then when the wave is only going to get bigger, and it's going to feel bigger, and it's going to feel harder to go through it because you've been resisting it for so long. But once it comes up and out, it may come up louder, but that's what your body's telling you it's got to do. That's part of the healing. The more you you internalize it and bury it and push it down and hide it and fight it and resist it. That does so much damage to you, your body, your nervous system, everything within you. But that's how we've been taught and trained, I feel like, it's, at least in our culture. And so for me, it's normalizing the healing process when it comes to loss.
Right. Gosh, I love that. What's not to love about your wisdom? Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes. And there's a lot of resistance to even have conversations like this about death. Most people don't want to talk about it. They label it as negative.
Mm-hmm.
What is your, let's say, relationship, your understanding of death? Is that something that, as a whole, as a big picture, have you accepted that that is part of life, or there's still you still not fight it, but there's still that resistance, like I don't want to die. I think nobody wants to die, right? Obviously, we love life, but yeah, talk to me about death for a moment.
Yeah, I believe, I lost my grandpa this summer and my mom's dad.
Yeah.
And that's my most recent experience. And for him, for the longest time, he was scared of how he was going to, right? I think that's what a lot of people are scared of. They're not necessarily scared to, they're scared of how it's going to. And I think once he was able to like let go and know, like his soul was going to another place, and he was going to a better place where his wife was and where his daughter was.
Yes.
I mean, it gives me chills because it was immediate peace for him. It was easier for him and for all of us to let him go, knowing that. And so I think, our bodies go in this life, but our soul carries on for sure.
Yes.
I believe
another
that.
billion times to that. And that's one of my questions, right? So I love the way you've been using these concepts of let go, trust, faith, the flowing with feelings. So there's something about holding on to something that makes us suffer. Would you say that that's actually the the reason why we suffer, especially unnecessary suffering? Would that be your conclusion in a way, if there is one, for suffering?
I do believe that 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Because again, no one that we lose wants us to suffer.
Right.
We do it to ourselves because we don't know how. We're scared to reach out and ask for help. We internalize it. We outwork our way through it, usually by doing,
Yes.
or we find unhealthier ways to cope, right? By whatever, drinking or drugs or whatever that is, to numb. And it's like, again, that is a very temporary solution.
Right.
We're not meant to suffer. And a lot of us, I believe, are.
Yes, I agree 1,000,000,000%. Again, we are not meant, we are not here, we are not designed to suffer unnecessarily. I would say that because, the body goes through pain. But even that, I heard that pain, there's suffering. And suffering is holding on to pain, really attaching, identifying with pain. So that makes sense to me too. It could be emotional, spiritual, mental, or physical. Is that something that makes sense to you too?
Yes, that does make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to sit with that one. Yeah, it's good.
If something comes up, let me know.
Okay, I will.
So, do you really feel that this is something that could influence or impact, or make a huge difference when it comes to dealing with loss and grief? Or do we still go through the process of feeling the pain? Do we actually have less pain when we are highly spiritual in that sense of knowing that we are not only the body mind?
I think having, when you go through the pain, having something to go to help you through the pain,
Right.
a spiritual practice, or a therapeutic practice, whatever that is for you, it is certainly going to help you in a more healthy way, because you can't, I don't think you can deny pain, because it comes in so many different forms. So I definitely think being able to lean into something, a practice, and that could be so many different ways, is only going to help you move through it.
Yes. And everybody is on different levels, right, of understanding of reality of themselves. So yeah, we can't really expect everybody to feel the same way or to go through the same process. So that's what I heard too, that we all have our own journeys and it's all different. You mentioned the soul. So is that something that you learned after your mother left the body, or this is something very new that you were just introduced to? Or have you been always in touch with that idea?
I was introduced to something like that shortly after she passed.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because I was 11, 12 years old when I was introduced to this, and I had just lost her, I wasn't as open. I was scared, right? It's that fear coming in, being able to look back now and being able to say that. And yet I was still curious. I was scared and curious. And so I experienced something when I was in college. So a few years later, where I got to visit her, or she came to visit me. And I don't share that story too often. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, this is what that person meant when he told me something like this was going to happen when I was 11 or 12 years old. I just didn't know that's what it was going to be. Oh, that wasn't scary. That was very real. And so I would say since then, I've always been open to more experiences like that, and having a relationship with her. And I would say just in the last 3 years, I've been even closer with her, because there's just, I see signs that she's with me in all different forms and in ways. And so that feels really good. And I hope that others do too. I know my aunt, who was my sister, or my aunt who was her sister, she has those experiences too with her dad who just passed away. And it lights us up to know that they're showing up for us.
Right. And that we never die. Right.
That's right.
So if that's true, that we never die and we just have these souls that leave the body and stay in, let's say, a spiritual realm, why do you think we come here in the body? Why do we need to have these experiences of going through suffering, attaching to people, our own parents, and then losing them? Is there a purpose to it? How do you feel about it, if this is true, that we never die?
I was thinking about it as you were asking the question, and then you said it. And I think that it is to find your purpose while you're here.
Yes.
Right? There is a purpose for everyone to be here in this moment. And I think a lot of people, it's what I call, are starting to have these midlife awakenings versus midlife crisis, like this midlife awakening to, am I really living my purpose while I'm here? I don't think so it's really great that they become aware of, this isn't it.
Yeah.
And those are a lot of the clients that I work with, is helping them tap into, well, what is that? So your body's telling you, it's nudging you maybe, right? It's tapping you that there's something more for you. And nobody can do it alone. And I love being able to walk alongside my clients and help them tap into what is that purpose for you while you're still here. I believe that.
Yeah. So what's the relationship or the connection between grieving, like for you, and doing the inner child work? Are they connected somehow?
I think, my own personal experience, for the longest time, I did not know that I had to heal my 11-year-old self, right? Everything that happens to us as adults starts when we were when we were children. Everything we learned is when we were kids. Everything we experienced as kids has made us who we are today. And maybe this version of who we are today isn't working because we haven't dealt with some unhealed past experience. And that could be a full spectrum of trauma, and that trauma can be a scary word. And you may not have experienced what we call big T trauma, which is, loss or abuse or some of those bigger ideas of what you think big T is. But little traumas, if you haven't dealt with those are still playing out for you in this subconscious way, or you're just not aware of,
True.
Oh, I don't, maybe I was, one of many kids growing up and my parents didn't see me because I was in the middle of 2 older kids and 2 younger kids, or I was the middle child, whatever that was. That's an experience that's now playing out for you as an adult in some way, shape, or form. What's interesting is you're going to potentially attract that part of someone else because you haven't dealt with that yet. So then there's that type of conflict too. So, doing my own work, I can only speak from my own experience. Once I leaned into the awareness of something still is triggering or something still hurts, it's that little 11-year-old that needed tended to, and yes. I had to do that. And I've witnessed many clients or other coaches that have done this work. It is the most powerful work I've ever witnessed and done in my life.
Wow. Do you also guide and help your clients to go through the steps of healing their inner child?
That's what I want to lean more into moving forward. I've done it with a couple that are willing and ready.
Yeah. Yes.
And because I know how powerful it is, I certainly want to continue to lean into that for other men and women that are ready, because that's where it is. That's where the magic is.
That's true. I absolutely agree. The other concept of yours that I love is that embracing your inner warrior. So, talk to me about that. That's a fun one. For some reason, it just resonates completely with me, just being this very powerful, actually getting to know your own power. But then we are all different. So talk to me for a moment about what is the inner warrior and how do we uncover it?
Yes, well, thank you. I get asked about it a lot and I speak about it a lot. And truthfully, I think this inner warrior concept for me is still evolving. As I continue to share it, what I know to be true is it's who you were before anyone told you had to be anyone different. So,
right.
For me, it's grabbing the picture of my 7-year-old self, whom I have on my desk at all times, and being able to look at her and it's like, she is pure love without anyone telling her she had to be anything or anyone different than just who she is deep in her core. That is who my inner warrior is. Yeah. And recently I've had to integrate that 11-year-old self with her and know it's all part of who we are at our core, is in loving all of her. But to be able to look at my 7-year-old self, she reminds me who I am on my good days, and she reminds me who I am on my tough days. That little one is within me. So,
yes. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, some emotions just came through me because naturally, spontaneously, I've done this work. Of course, I had guidance, from somebody saying that I had to reparent myself. And then I kind of went back to that. But I love the way you're saying pure love. So that's what we are before we become conditioned to think that we are something else.
That's right.
Wow. So is that one of the things that you suggest, one of the practices that you suggest, to have the picture of your younger self? Like, it seems like you're looking at her now. You looked at this. Oh, she's there. Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is. She's the best version of me always. And she is my daily reminder. She was perfect.
God, yes.
She was perfect. And that age, that that could be different for everyone. I've certainly met women that have their 10-year-old version, or they have their 2-year-old version, because we came out the womb perfect and loved.
Yes.
And then to your point, we're conditioned at some point that it had to be different. And yet that little one we all still have her or him within us. So it's never to forget that. Bring it front of mind. Show up as she would show up.
Yes. Oh my God, Jennifer, what a beautiful reminder for all of us. Yeah. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I almost have to pause for a moment. Yeah, I have a picture of myself as a 2-year-old, I think. I think it was 2. Oh my God, so joyful with the rounded face. So I want to do that. And I never put the picture anywhere, but my husband too. So I will encourage him to do the same. That's funny. His sister just sent him lots of pictures of him when he was little. And I was looking at him and he said that, I was so innocent. He said that word.
Yes.
So we lose innocence. So that's another thing. And how do you interpret this concept of innocence? It's, again, is that this movement again from love to fear? That's why, because there's so much that comes from fear, right? That looks very much the opposite of being innocence, is being judgmental and doing things that to hurt ourselves and others. So yeah, talk to me for a moment about that. Is innocence part of the love that you speak of, or something else?
Great question. And what comes to mind for me is, again, like leaning in with questions and curiosity, and questioning, is that a story that I was led to believe? And then really being able to say, that's not true.
Right.
That was just a limiting belief, or that was just a story. And then being able to, there's a tool that comes to mind that we have to share with our clients. And for myself, it's in offering it that compassionate self-forgiveness. Like, I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that whatever that statement is, or I forgive myself for judging myself as this, and then being able to speak the truth.
That's a big one.
It's huge.
Yes.
A lot of it is just so many of our thoughts and stories, they're not true. We just thought they were. And so we're able to look in the mirror and question, that's not true. I was just believing that the whole time. And now I can shift the narrative and change it. And then, to your point, lead with love and compassion versus judgment.
Right. So we're almost at the end of the conversation. I have a lot of other questions here for you. Yes. So another question about the inner warrior. I want to tie in with some of the services that you offer. So you work with individuals and businesses. I noticed on your website. So I would love to know more about how does it work? If somebody wants to contact you, what's the first step? And what would be the ideal, let's say, client that you could have a great relationship with? Is there such a thing, or you're open to everyone and anyone?
I know I'm not meant to serve everyone. And that's, just as a coach and as a business owner, that's been a tough, that's a tough question, right? Not that I feel like I can.
Yes.
But the person that I tend to attract in some way, shape, or form is a version of who I was, right? 5 and 6 years ago, when I was in corporate sales, the first time I met with my coach, I was this girl that had zero belief in herself. I don't know where my confidence went. It had left my body. I was unfulfilled. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. It's those questions. And those are mostly the women that, from a one-to-one and small group coaching standpoint, I attract those women that are saying those same things. And I help them find clarity and confidence and their why, like understanding that purpose that you and I spoke of. They have it. They just don't maybe know what that is yet. So it's helping them tap into that And again, building that new relationship with fear, with self-doubt, with perfectionism, whatever they've been taught before.
Yes.
Building a new relationship with that and upgrading that and knowing how to put that fear in the back seat of the car versus letting it drive the car. And getting them back into alignment. I think a lot of people are out of alignment right now and maybe don't even understand what that means. And I think it all comes back to, what are your core values? If you don't know what those are, then yes, you are out of alignment. You are saying yes or no to other things or other people because of them and not what's best for you. So that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients.
Yeah, it's very clear to me. That's an interesting thing to hear and to notice, that some people actually don't know. They doubt themselves, their own values. I have come across some people like that. And what do you suggest for that, Jennifer, when it comes to, practices that they can do on their own? Like, for example, meditation. Is that one of the practices that you suggest?
Yes, it's certainly one that has worked for me for the last 6 years. And I think people are maybe scared of a meditation practice, and it can be in so many different forms. It's not like you have to sit in silence for 30 minutes if that's not comfortable for you yet. Or journaling, it's like expressing yourself, getting it out of your body and whatever that looks like, whether it's verbally processing it to someone else, whether it's writing it down and getting it out of your head. It makes such a difference each and every day. Those are journaling, meditation, moving your body.
Yes.
I mean, it's the basic things, as getting the right amount of sleep is huge. And so many people, I think, struggle with that because they feel like they can't shut their mind off at night, or they're inundated with all things. And it's like, again, it's giving yourself that permission that you have to do this. That way you can serve everybody else the way you want to. Do you feel like you're at your best to serve everyone around you right now, your kids, your spouse, your coworkers, whomever that is? If not, like, it's time to reprioritize and know that you're worth it enough to prioritize yourself.
Right. Yes. That's another big one. Self-love, self-care. Yes. Yeah. That's a huge piece of it. I agree. So we're almost at the end. Thank you so much again for your beautiful presence in our reality, for the impact that you're making. Just listening to you, it kind of opens up, the door to new possibilities, to this world, the land of love, as I call it. It sounds very much like that. So thank you for being the inspiration for all of us and a reminder for some. And before we say goodbye, did you leave anything unsaid, Jennifer? Is there anything that you'd like to mention or comment?
What I know to be true is just reiterating with whomever is out there listening today that you're worth it.
Yeah. That
you're worth it enough to heal any past pain, and that pain can eventually and will eventually turn into your purpose.
Yes, that's another big one. Huge one. Yes, transforming pain into meaning, into purpose. Yes.
I believe that.
Me too. Yes. Yeah. You're so wise. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
I'm a lover of wisdom, and anything that belongs to the land of love, which, gratitude, acceptance, healing, all that stuff, spirituality. So there's something, I'm very devotional in that sense. So my last question is, two questions actually. What 3 experiences you wish everyone to have with their loved ones before they leave the body?
That's a powerful question.
It's the first time I asked. You inspired me with this one.
Say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Like that's, I think, one of the regrets you hear of, especially when maybe it's somewhat unexpected, that may make it harder. But never hesitate to say what you want to say, do what you want to do, be with them. Because I could certainly say the same, right? I wish, I would have had more time, but I don't even know if I said everything that I wanted to say. So that's that's my nugget for you is don't leave anything unsaid.
Yes, that's interesting that you say that too. And my last question is the idea of freedom. What is freedom to you? What is to be free as of now?
I love that you've asked this question because I felt that just this morning with the recent experience I had with a healer.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? And it was one of the most powerful experiences I've had with this healer, which was feeling free because I've now integrated and brought this 11-year-old with me, where I think there was resistance before. She wasn't ready. And now she is. And so I woke up this morning feeling so much lighter and more free, because she's been not integrated for 31 years. So it was powerful. I think so. Freedom is, gosh, it's integrating all parts of yourself, right? Integrating that fear part of you as well as the love part of you, because there's parts. It's all parts. So it's integrating all of that. That's when you're free.
Right. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. It very much feels that way. Yes. The wholeness again, experiencing wholeness. Yeah. That would be freedom itself. It just resonates true. And it's interesting that you say that, because when we met today, that was the energetic resonance that I got. She's so light.
Wow.
That I'm very sensitive to energies and meeting people. So I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't say anything, of course, but yes, it's so clear. I love, that you're committed to getting to know self, right? The parts of this, whatever we call human. So that's so wonderful. It takes a lot of courage. And I really thank you for that too. Thank you for saying yes to life.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to mention your website, justcommitcoaching.com. That will be clickable on the podcast notes. Is that the best way to contact you, Jennifer? Or there are other ways? I know I have your email in LinkedIn.
Yeah, Just Commit Coaching. You can schedule a complimentary 30-minute call with me there just to connect. Yeah. And LinkedIn is the other easy way. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn and connect with people worldwide on there, and it's an amazing platform. And so happy to connect on there as well.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll have those two links will be on the podcast notes here.
Great.
Clickable. Thank you so much again, Jennifer, for your beautiful presence, and we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch again. Bye for now, my dear.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.